So the question is, what's the most important thing a man has to have to be stylish? Now, a lot of you guys out there, especially those of you that have watched my channel for years, are going to say fit. And that's a really good answer because you can go out there and spend thousands of dollars on an expensive suit. You can go out there and spend hundreds of dollars on a really nice shirt or sweater. But guess what? If it doesn't fit you, it's not going to look good. In fact, in my style pyramid, fit, function, and fabric, I always say if you've got to choose one, if you're going to spend your money in one place, make sure that you nail the fit. All that being said, fit is actually not the most important thing a man has to have timeless style. So what's the style element that a guy has to look his best that's even more important than fit? Well, gentlemen, the answer is in today's video. Now, could the most important thing be those other parts of the style pyramid? Fabric and function. I don't talk about them as much as fit, but they are really important. Think of them like legs on a stool. That if they're not there, the whole thing's going to fall over. Whenever I talk about the function, I'm talking about you wearing the right clothing for the right situation. Example, you've been volunteering for that nonprofit for over a decade, and guess what? They decided to recognize you in downtown Chicago, or maybe you work for the company that is going to give out this recognition. And again, you've got an event, they're trying to create an ambiance, and on the invitation, there is a dress code. Suit and tie required. Understand that's not optional. You need to wear the functional clothing for that particular event because they're trying to create an ambiance. And by fabric, I mean construction. I mean build quality. And this applies to boots. This applies to your suit. This applies to your shirt. This applies to your watch. You want to understand the mechanics, what goes into from the parts, from the pieces to the materials, to the way things are sewn together. And the best advice I can give you is go into a finer menswear store. Go into a high-end shoe store. Go into a nice watch store and look at all the different options. Because when you see a $10,000 watch or you see a $2,000 suit, $100 pair of boots versus a $500 pair of boots, what you want to notice is what are the differences. Pay attention to the construction. You start to have things that enter your lexicon like Goodyear welted construction, Blake stitch construction, glued construction. Now, each of these serve a purpose. I don't want Blake stitch on my running shoes. I'm going to go with glued shoes. It's going to keep the price down, but they can't be resold. And you know that, hey, if you're going to buy quality, you know what to look for from the way that the stitches are holding the garment together to simply the way that the seams are put together and folded. You don't have, any loose threads on the inside of the garment. And the reason this matters is not only because you want to make sure you get what you pay for, but if you see something on sale and you're not sure, you go look at the stitching, you look at the construction, you realize, hey, this is a $1,000 sports jacket that is on sale for some reason for $300. It fits me, it looks good, and you snatch up that deal. And that's what I love to see. You guys being able to dress your best for less. That being said, none of those are the most important thing when it comes to you being your best dressed self. They're important, but not the most important. What is the most important? Let's go to the next point. Now, I know some of you guys are thinking it's got to be dressing for your body type, right? And you probably know there are 5 general body types out there. You've got the thin guy, you've got the rounder, thicker guy. You've got the pear-shaped guy. You've got the really fit, muscular guy that spends a lot of time in the gym. And then you've just got the average build. Now, dressing for your body type is incredibly important because there are certain garments that are going to work with certain body types. Even the really muscular guy has items that don't look good on him. If you wear a jacket, a sports jacket or a suit jacket that is too structured in the shoulders, has too much roping there on the end, all of a sudden it can, make you look like a linebacker, make you look like a cartoon character. Versus the guy with the wide hips, he wants to wear garments that actually structure the shoulders, draw more attention to his upper body because his lower body, he wants to minimize that pear shape. And that skinny guy, he loves long sleeve shirts because guess what? On a hot day, he just simply rolls up those sleeves and it looks so much better than a short sleeve shirt that has too much excess material around the bicep area. The rounder, heavy guy, he wants to even out his proportions. So he's looking at tropical weight wool trousers during the summer. During the winter, he's going to go ahead and throw on a little bit longer jackets. He's going to make sure items that look great on nothing's going to make him look skinny, but he understands that, hey, I want to go more for a monochromatic look so the eyes can go up and down versus going, with a white shirt with dark trousers. It's going to keep our attention on the midsection. Well, as you can tell, very important stuff to know, and I definitely put this in the top 10 when it comes to men's style, but it is not the most important. Well, then it's got to be the science of style, right? Antonio, this is what you talk about. You talk about fit, you talk about proportions, you talk about color, and the way that people react to them. It's true, the science of style, very important. In fact, I've loved over the last decade how I can bring my background. So in undergrad, I studied biology, psychology, origins of behavior. I studied evolutionary biology. This was my thing. And so to be able to talk about this from a style perspective and to look back at thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years with animals, simply the way that we've interacted, the way that people, when they see a particular color, they're more likely to trust, they're more likely to be sexually attractive to, the color red. Powerful. And let's talk about the rule of thirds and the golden ratio. If you've ever studied photography, if you've studied art, if you've studied geometry and you know your history with Da Vinci, I mean, these guys were talking about how they noticed these patterns again and again, and it transcended different, areas where they were studying. And we see this in men's style. When you're putting an outfit together, all of a sudden, if you nail these particular items, all of a sudden you can make that outfit look better. In fact, that's how a lot of men's style has evolved, to get the proportions right, to make a man look more masculine. Because whenever you put on that jacket, whether it be a leather jacket, whether it be a suit jacket or a sports jacket, all of a sudden it's going to make your hands look a little bit larger. It's going to build up the shoulders. It's going to slim up your waist, build up your chest. All of this right here makes you look better. All that being said, the science of style is really important to know. I love talking about it, but it's not the most important thing when it comes to men's style. Well, if it's not the science of color, it just must be the use of color and patterns and texture to be able to make an outfit pop, right? I mean, you're looking at this right here. I've got a nice napped weave on this jacket. I've got a nice little pattern to it right there. That little bit of white in the pockets grabs your attention. The blue, monochromatic look. Whenever I stand up, it's going to make me look taller and leaner. That is what we're talking about here. And guys, if you understand this, this is a great way to be able to stand out from the crowd, because so many guys, I get it, they want to keep it simple. They wear the same thing maybe again and again, but you can change it up. You can simply, by bringing in different textures and leather, mixed in with maybe a little bit of a flannel shirt, throw on, a pair of jeans with the denim right there. You've got all blue, but you've got 3 different textures. You can make them work. Maybe bring in just a pop of color. It's a little bit cooler. Maybe you're wearing a jacket, so throw a bright colored scarf on there with a little bit of pattern. All of a sudden, everyone's drawn to that. It's drawn to your chest area. You understand how to use color and pattern and texture to your advantage to really just make an outfit pop. Guys, incredibly important. Probably top 15 for me, but definitely not number 1. What about dressing your age? I mean, if you're in your 20s, you probably have a particular set of style rules and guidelines you need to follow than if you're in your 60s, somewhat. Because if you're in your 60s, if you're in your 50s, if you're in your 40s, people are looking up to you. You most likely are in a position of leadership, whether you like it or not. Maybe you're a father. Maybe you're the head of a company that you had started just out of your garage. Now you've got 50 people that are showing up and their livelihoods depend on you. Guess what? You need to dress the part as a leader. It may be a blue collar factory type of company, but still there is an expectation that you are guiding the ship. You may get your hands dirty, and so you want to wear something that's pretty practical. At the same time, you got to go in there and sell future investors on why you deserve that money so that you can expand the operation. If you're in your 20s, I do think a younger guy, you're in your teens, maybe even early 30s, you can experiment a lot more. Society's pretty forgiving on what you can try, and this is a time for you to go out there and to try all different types of looks to find your unique style. So as you can tell, dressing your age, something important to understand, but not the most important. What about the 4 I's? Inspiration, imitation, innovation, and improvement. Really important. I love this guideline because you should be out there looking for inspiration. That's why I love, just subscribing to maybe Esquire or GQ. Go into, just go through those magazines or go to Pinterest. Go over to Instagram. Find somebody who you love their look. Subscribe to it and be inspired. Then actually try to imitate some of the looks that you absolutely love. Here's the thing. No one's going to say, oh, wow, you're dressing like, Ryan Gosling or George Clooney or Idris Elba or whoever, maybe a famous Instagrammer that you follow. No one's going to say that you have stolen their look. They're just going to say that you look good. Next up, you're going to innovate. And this means when it starts to, you realize that, hey, you know what? I like what they did here, but it would look so much better if I switched out that orange for a red, or if I changed that dark blue for a lighter blue. And all of a sudden you start to innovate. You start to make it yours. And that is that last part. You are improving yourself by simply going through the motions. Now that's a great framework, and I will create a full-on chart and probably video for that one as well. But but it's not the most important thing. Now, gents, if you're enjoying today's video, do me a favor and smash the like button. Seriously, when you engage with these videos, the YouTube gods come down and say, Antonio, we will help more men find this video because it's a good one. And by the way, down in the description of today's video, I'm going to link over to a number of YouTube videos that go into detail about each of the points I'm talking about. So what's left? Well, obviously, perhaps the most important one, education. And gentlemen, it doesn't stop at my channel. Go check out Raphael over at the Gentleman's Gazette. Kirby Allison's another great channel. My friends Hugo and Sonia Jacomet. You've got Alex Costa, Jose Zuniga, Tim DeSaint, and of course, one of my best friends, Aaron Marino over at Alpha M. But honestly, the best information is still in the stacks. I'm talking about the books. Yes, they're still out there. So Alan Flusser's Dressing the Man, still one of the best out there. We've got Bernhard Rotzell's Gentleman. And a modern classic is Douglas Hand's The Laws of Style. Absolutely love this book. And if you want inspiration, check out the various books from Josh Sims. This one, Men of Style, is awesome. That being said, if you're a James Bond fan, if you want to do a deep dive into his outfits and all the sartorial details that went into them, check out this right here from Tailors with Love, An Evolution of Menswear Through the Bond Films by Peter Brooker and my friend Matt Spacer. Seriously, I was on the phone the other day with Matt and he put his heart and soul into this book. It's an amazing read. All that being said, gentlemen, it is close, but still not the most important thing when it comes to men's style. Well, maybe the most important thing in men's style is following the rules, not making stupid style mistakes, like wearing square-toed shoes, or not matching your leathers, or buttoning that bottom button on a suit. Because if you make these mistakes, obviously you are a style rookie, right? Now, gents, not making style mistakes, that is an important part to dressing well. And those rules are put out there so that beginners, when they're getting started, they don't embarrass themselves. That being said, it is not the most important thing, and I know you've been waiting for it. So what is the most important thing that every guy has to have if he wants to dress well, if he wants to have timeless style? The answer, gentlemen, it's actually quite simple. You need to give a damn. You need to know what your why is. You need to know what you stand for to become the man you know yourself to be. I talk about this a lot on my channel, but understand that this is just an outfit. This is just clothing. It doesn't matter. What matters is you and your core values, what you stand for, what you want to achieve in life. And clothing is a tool to achieve that success, to achieve that goal. And you need to know what that is because you're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort putting your best foot forward. But what's more important is that you can use it as a tool to accomplish your mission. And maybe something simple that simply you think you deserve this. You know, you've worked hard. You're a single guy out there just simply trying to be your best self, to make yourself and your family proud. Well, great. You know, wear the clothing that sends the message you want to send. Maybe you're a family man. You want to represent your family. Every time you walk out that door, you understand that, hey, your kids and your daughters are looking up to you. Your wife is proud. You know, she may not always say it, and you guys may occasionally argue, but you've been together through a lot over the last 20 years, and you want her, whenever like her friends say, you know what, your husband is always the best dressed guy, you want to get her to have that feeling. Whatever dream you may have, I want you to leverage that, and that is your why, to simply put your best foot forward and to send the message you want to send. All right, Jen, so now it's your turn. I want to hear from you in the comments below. What is your why? What is your inspiration? I've got at least a couple dozen beautiful challenge coins here I would love to send your way. Just simply let me know down in the comments, what is your inspiration? What is your why? Why do you give a damn? Guys, I want to hear from you down below in the comments, and the best answers. Over the next few months, I'm going to be sending out these challenge coins. So guys, maybe share this with a man that needs this inspiration. Guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything we've created here at Real Men Real Style, and I will see you in the next video. Which that next video could very much be this one right here, which is a mystery video. I'm not going to reveal what it is. I will say it is a good one. It will be related to this video. So click it, find out, and yeah, enjoy.